UFC Fight Night Vegas 16, Hermansson versus Vettori just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, give my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card and my overall event recap as well, starting with the early prelim opener of Jamel versus Jake Collier. It was really bad to watch, in all honesty, and it was a bad representation of the sport because both guys were very sloppy, but it was a fun fight while it lasted. Not too much technique in there, but Jamel versus Jake Collier, I mean, it surprised me, in all honesty. I thought this was going to be a messy, sloppy battle back and forth, but I thought Jamel was going to get the job done. That was my prediction. I'm sure that was most people's prediction, seeing as how Jake Collier has been looking recently in terms of what kind of shape he's in. But apparently Jake Collier at heavyweight has got good pacing, he was landing good shots, and it was a fun scrap back and forth. And if we did not have that main event, this might have got fight of the night, in all honesty, because Jamel was swinging, Jake Collier was swinging as well. I just feel like Jake Collier wanted it a little bit more, stuck to it, landed more shots, had the volume advantage, and just eventually ran away with the win. All 3 rounds to Jake Collier. Good performance. Jake Collier gets it done. I say give him to the winner of Taha versus Felipe, or maybe another newcomer to the UFC in the heavyweight division. Who knows? Jamel versus Jake Collier was a fun one. I was just disappointed in Jamel. He's had a kid. He has a child. He just got married. I thought he would come in a bit better shape, but he just completely gassed out after the first round, and Collier just pieced him up. Moving on up the card, Ilia Topuria versus Damon Jackson. Amazing fight on the prelims. Amazing fight on the prelims. Ilia Topuria destroyed him. I thought this was going to be a scrap back and forth, and I thought this was a good fight to have on the prelims. I thought this fight should have been on the main card, but Topuria just destroyed him. Annihilated him in that fight. It was an amazing performance. I haven't seen body shots like that in a very long time, especially not in the featherweight division, because he was just ripping those body shots, landing good jabs, working his way in, showing good fight IQ. He never got overzealous. He never overthrew his shots. Stayed behind his technique, landed good body shots, eventually started going upstairs afterwards once Damon Jackson was hurt to the body, and just lit him up in that first round. It was an amazing performance. I don't know who the performance bonuses went to, but I imagine that one of them is going to be going to Ilia Topuria, because he just completely whooped up on Damon Jackson like Damon Jackson didn't just beat Mirsad Bektic. And I know that Mirsad Bektic was beating Damon Jackson, and Damon Jackson had a dangerous submission game, but I thought that Ilia Topuria was a submission guy. I know he had some KOs in his career and had good stand-up, but he mainly goes to the ground and submits people. I thought this was a dangerous fight for him because Damon Jackson has got good submissions, but instead, Topuria just outsmarted all of us playing 5D chess over there and just said, you know what, I'm going to stand up with this guy the entire time and just murk him on the feet. And apparently Ilia Topuria is going to be a real problem in that division. I feel like he should take some time off. A little bit of time. I don't want him to go down the Yusuf Zalal route, which is the guy he beat before this one, by the way, where Yusuf Zalal was just fighting once every month and a half, once every month. You can't improve if you're doing that. There's no chance to get some new techniques added to your game. I think Ilia Topuria should take the bonus, take Christmas off, come back in March or April, maybe late March, early April time, get back in there against a good fighter in the featherweight division. I think he needs one more guy that's coming off a win. Maybe a Chaz Skelly or something along those lines. Maybe an Alex Caceres even. And then we need to look at jumping him up. But right now, he's only 10-0. I think it's a little bit of a low number of wins in order to jump him straight towards those rankings. But if he gets 2 or 3 more, then we're looking at the rankings of the featherweight division. Only 23 years of age. I don't want to rush him here. That he's very dangerous. And he might just run through the entire division. Ilia Topuria is a monster. Definitely a 50k bonus for him. Moving on up the card. Louis Smolka versus Joze Albertoquinones. I had Joze Albertoquinones winning this fight as an underdog. He was looking really good in this fight. Joze Albertoquinones was landing good shots in this fight. I believe outlanding Louis Smolka in the first and the start of the second round anyway. I know Smolka got a takedown at the end of the first round, but Quinones was looking really good. He looked like he definitely improved his game. Came out there, lighting up Smolka with some body shots, some good crisp hand exchanges as well. Dodging a lot of the shots that Smolka was throwing back at him, but eventually he just kept going for that outside trip with the body lock. And Smolka read it. And just at that time that Quinones went for the outside trip, Smolka knew he was on one leg, went for the hip toss, landed the hip toss, took the back. Great positioning from Smolka, and he gets the job done, ruining my prediction completely. But he gets the hip toss in the second round and the TKO finish. Good come from behind win. Even though it wasn't that much of a come behind win, He was getting beaten, in my opinion, by Jose Albertoquinones. I thought I had a decent underdog pick on my hands until Smolka just hip tosses him and smashes his brains in, and then eventually gets the TKO finish in the second round. Good performance by Lewis Smolka. I don't know what's next for him at this point, no. I really don't know what's next for him. Maybe an Andre Ewell or something along those lines. I don't know, in all honesty. Maybe a Jonathan Martinez, a Mario Batista, a Miles Johns, Adrian Yanez. Actually, there's a bunch of names he could take on next. I say turn him right back around against one of those names on these early cards next year. Lewis Smolka gets it done by TKO. Good performance. Good hip toss in the second round. Gets it done. Moving on up the card, I went 1 and 2 on the prelims and predictions, but I made up for it on the main card. Moving on to the opener of the main card, Jordan Leavitt versus Matt Wyman took place on the main card, and it was such a brutal slam KO by Jordan Leavitt. He went out there, wasted no time, got straight to the grappling, picked him up, was carrying him to his corner. Very Khamzat Chimaev-esque, if I do say so myself. I predicted Jordan Leavitt to win this one by decision. I thought he was a submission artist, which he is. And I thought that Matt Wyman survived 3 rounds against Joe Solecki, escaping submission position. So I didn't see Jordan Leavitt getting the submission against Matt Wyman. But apparently he doesn't need the submission, because he just picked him up and slammed him on his back and KO'd him stiff. Crazy from Jordan Leavitt. Really, really impressive performance to get a finish like that over Matt Wyman. I know slam KOs are kind of fluky, but he meant to do the KO. Like, he postured up with his forearm on the neck, just completely flopped him down, lost all weight, and just sank right down on top of him with that KO blow. Got the job done. You could see it on Matt Wyman's face. If you don't know this, go back and watch it in slow motion. Matt Wyman is laughing while Leavitt is carrying him over to his corner. And then Matt Wyman, once Leavitt puts the forearm on his neck, Matt Wyman realizes that he's going to slam him on his head and goes, oh shit. He starts actually mouthing out, oh shit, because he knows he's about to be slammed, and he was laughing before then as well. I thought that was an amazing moment. Leavitt gets the KO in the first round with a slam, 22 seconds in. I mean, if they're giving out free performance of the night bonuses, I think there's another guy on this card that deserves one, but Jordan Leavitt could get that 50k bonus. Who knows? But we'll see who gets it moving on up the card. There's a couple of other good guys. But if I was Jordan Leavitt, take some time. 8-0. He said he wants to enjoy his time until February, March, when he has his daughter. So I guess we're not going to see him until like June, July maybe. But I feel like, hey, Jordan Leavitt, get another one in quickly in around February before your wife gives birth. And then just spend a long time once the baby's actually there. Because you're only kind of needed when the baby's there. And just before the pregnancy, no? I'm not going to tell the guy how to live his life, but I just think he took no damage. He should turn right back around at the end of January or February and get one more win in before the baby comes out and then spend like 6 months with it. But what do I know? You know what I'm saying? Let's have a training camp while you have a baby running around and leave your wife to take care of it on her own. Either way, I've just went a bit personal there. But still, Jordan Leavitt gets the job done. Very sus. You know what I'm saying? He's got a wife, but, very interesting behaviour from Jordan Leavitt. He's an interesting character. I actually like him. I like a little bit of weirdness. It's like a Tony Ferguson situation, where there's something off about them, but it keeps you tuned in. Jordan Leavitt, 8-0, stays undefeated. Another undefeated fighter on the card gets it done. I would like to see him take on a guy who isn't Matt Wyman next in the lightweight division. I don't know who, but just not Matt Wyman, please, maybe, because let's just get rid of Matt Wyman at this point. 16-10, older guy, lost a bunch in a row. Let's go. Jordan Leavitt gets it done, undefeated. Moving on up the card, Roman Dolidze versus John Allen. The fight was good. The judging was criminal. Someone gave that fight to John Allen, and it was embarrassing that they did so. And I can't quite remember the name of the guy that they kept saying off the top of my head right now. But that was an embarrassing. They kept saying it on the commentary, so I'm surprised I can't remember it, because I literally had it in my head before I started this video. But Roman Dolidze versus John Allen. The judge that gave that to John Allen? What are you fucking watching, dude? 30-27, Roman Dolidze. So easy to score. Fair enough, you want to get a mistake, and you want to make a mistake and somehow give it 29-28. By the way, the other judges didn't even have it 30-27. It's worrying, the judging nowadays. And you know what? I think it's rigged. I think that the judges, in synchronization, make a robbery per card. Every single card, there is one terrible, terrible decision that happens. Every single card without fail. This one, we're lucky there wasn't, because Dolidze was just about dominant enough not to get it taken away from him, but Jesus, if that second round he doesn't land a couple more shots, maybe they actually rob him here. And I do want to mention this. I think it's rigged. I think they know that they're doing this, and they know that they're rigging fights, because there was something trending in the MMA community earlier today, and that was the Georgian parlay. People had Topuria, someone else, and Dolidze, or just Topuria and Dolidze in the Georgian parlay. The fact that Dolidze was the guy at the end of that parlay for everyone, and that was the one that was almost robbed away, I swear, these judges are in cahoots with the betting companies, and they're rigging these fights, trying to make robberies happen, but trying to not make it so obvious. But that was terrible. The same judge actually gave the fight to Paul Felder against Rafael dos Anjos, and Felder even admitted on live stream on the commentary saying that I did not win that fight with RDA. So respect to Felder, but Jesus, what is going on with the judges? They're literally rigging fights, and it's criminal. And that guy should be fired. You can't see that fight for Allan if you're watching the fight. And that's just it. He should be fired. Roman Dolidze had a great performance though. It kind of gets overshadowed by the decision, but Dolidze, good grappling. I liked that we got to see him go 3 rounds, funnily enough, even though he was going for that heel hook early and he wanted the submission. He even asked his corner, do you want me to submit him, coach? And his corner, of course, said, yes, brother, because he's from the Caucasus region, so everyone says yes, brother. That's kind of the only English they know, in all honesty. But Roman Dolidze, great performance. Showed decent enough cardio. He did look like he slowed down somewhat as well. And I don't like the arrogance, in all honesty, because eventually that's going to get him cracked on the chin. And he started smiling at Allan in the 3rd round, and he did get cracked on the chin quite badly. Maybe Allan could have an argument of winning that 3rd, but I thought Dolidze could have got every single round that fight. Dolidze gets it done. I like that he got 3 rounds under his belt, because every other fight has been a finish. Now he can say that it's been 3 rounds. Showed decent enough cardio. Let's move him on up the division against a guy like Ed Herman or someone along these lines. Coming off a win. Shamil Gamzatov. One of these kind of guys, you know what I'm saying? But Roman Dolidze, maybe even a Maxim Grishin as well. Good matchups to make. Roman Dolidze, 8-0, still undefeated. Another undefeated guy comes up big. Big win from Roman Dolidze. Good performance. Moving on up the card. Gabriel Benitez versus Justin James. Where did that come from, Gabriel Benitez? I had Benitez winning a decision, 29-28. I had him winning. I had Dolidze winning as well, by the way, and I also had Leavitt winning. But I didn't think he was going to go out there and look like that in the 1st round. He was not playing around. I thought he was going to weather the storm of Justin James and then come back in the 2nd and 3rd with his cardio. But he came out so switched on, and this is the same guy that rocked Sadiq Yusuff really badly in their fight before going a bit crazy after rocking him and getting caught with Sadiq Yusuff's punch and getting KO'd. Gabriel Benitez came back with a vengeance, beat up the legs of Justin James, landed good knees to the body. Eventually, that knee to the body was too much for James to take, and it just crumpled him against the cage, right in the breadbasket with that knee. Or it wasn't even right in the breadbasket, it was right in the side ribs. Hard knee, straight to the ribs, sent him backwards, crumpled up in a ball. Gabriel Benitez lands some extra shots. They weren't even needed, the extra shots. It looked like James was done, but the referee jumps in. Great performance by Gabriel Benitez. Great leg kicks as well, I do want to mention. Those leg kicks, the way he was turning them over, they had some real heat behind him, and he was chopping down the legs of James, landing good body kicks as well, sticking behind the jab. I mean, just a great performance by Benitez, and I feel like James, maybe it's going to come to an end. He's kind of like a knockoff version of Brian Kelleher, kind of, in the lightweight division. Yeah, sometimes he's good, sometimes he has bad performances. I just don't like James in the UFC. He seems a little bit reckless. Maybe one more fight against Roosevelt Roberts. Justin James versus Roosevelt Roberts in March or February. Loser goes home. That's all I can think of. But for Gabriel Benitez, amazing performance. And hey, maybe we can even do Gabriel Benitez versus Jordan Leavitt. Both lightweights. Both got out of their fights completely unscathed. Both fought on the same card. Let's make Gabriel Benitez versus Jordan Leavitt next. Makes sense. Moving on up the card. Ovin St. Preux versus Jamel Hill. Wow. I predicted Jamel Hill to win by TKO. I said he was just a bit more patient than the other guys that have tried to go out there and KO OSP. And I like this prediction for myself. I'm going to give myself a big old pat on the back here. Because I said that Jamel Hill is going to go out there, be patient, pick apart OSP, look for his shots, never overcommit, and eventually find the finish. And that's exactly what he did. And it was just an amazing performance by Jamel Hill. Very educated performance as well. Touch 'em Up Academy is where he graduated from. I really like that. I think it's a good style to have, touch 'em up, especially in the light heavyweight division. So many guys are just looking for the big shot, but it seems like Jamel Hill really likes to pick his moments, land good shots. The combination he finished OSP was... The combination he finished OSP with was crazy. I don't know how OSP was still standing after that barrage, but OSP has got a good chin on him still. I know he's been KO'd a bunch of times, but he takes shots well. But Jamel Hill was just landing way too many on him in those rounds. I had him winning the first round quite clearly. The second round came around and he just did exactly the same thing. Good cardio, good volume, never overcommitted. Great shots by Jamel Hill, and OSP showed up, man. This wasn't an OSP that just didn't look good. Like, OSP had moments here where he landed good shots, good front kicks to the body, good leg kicks as well. He was really chewing up the legs of Jamel Hill in the fight, but Hill took those leg kicks, kept throwing that straight left to the body while ushering his way onto the outside, away from the power hand of OSP. It was a great performance by Jamel Hill. Very educated. I think he should take on an Ed Herman next, or maybe even a guy like, I don't know, Paul Craig. You know what I mean? One of these kind of guys. Or a Misha Serkinov. I know he just got pulled out of a fight with Ryan Spann. Maybe they just immediately turn around Jamel Hill in like January, February against Ryan Spann or something like this. But great performance by Hill. Don't know if he'll get a performance bonus because I feel like Benitez and Topuria are going to get the performance bonuses. The fight of the night bonus is definitely going to go to the main event. Jack Hermansson versus Marvin Vettori. Just a great performance by both guys. Well... a good performance by Marvin Vettori. I feel like Hermansson, he should have definitely tried a bit harder with the grappling, but to be fair to him, Marvin Vettori just was out grappling him, kind of. Like, every single time we've seen Hermansson on the ground with someone, he's either took their back immediately or got them in a terrible situation off the rip. And Marvin Vettori is the first guy so far that we've seen just be able to stuff that head down and just show no fear with Hermansson getting him down. Scrambled well, came around the outside, took the back of Hermansson on the ground and eventually got into full guard with Hermansson. Reverse position with Hermansson. Hermansson had him in bad positions and he would get out on top, roll him over, get into half guard, keep him there, land some decent shots to the body. Marvin Vettori had a great performance. The grappling skill that he showed in those first two rounds was very impressive here, because I thought with Marvin Vettori as a favourite, it was a disgrace to Jack Hermansson. Like, I thought Jack Hermansson was one of the best underdogs in the world, and I was rubbing my hands thinking these fucking stupid odds makers have no idea what they're doing. Jack Hermansson should be a 2-to-1 favourite, but somehow Vettori gets it done. I feel like this is an upset. And the judges and the odds makers didn't have this as an upset. They had this as the decent favourite winning a fight that he should have won. This was an upset performance, and I almost feel like it takes away from Vettori's performance to say that this was a favourite win. Like, he got the upset against Jack Hermansson way up the division, got the knockdown in the first round, almost finished Jack Hermansson, but Hermansson showed a good chin, stayed in there, kept going, landing good shots throughout the fight himself. And I want to say this because I didn't mention it in my full fight breakdown on my channel. Vettori's chin. What's going on? Because he was hit with some brutal haymakers, and not just, obviously he landed more on Hermansson than Hermansson landed on him, and he was winning those rounds. I thought he won rounds 2, 1, 4, and 5, and round 3 obviously goes to Hermansson, but he was getting hit by shots where it's just like, you should be KO'd for this, because he's leaning back, and the middle knuckle of Hermansson is just sliding right across his chin. He's fucking spinning his head round, and he's just eating them, and then coming back with a straight 1-2 counter. Then he'll jab, slip the counter, land another 2 down the pipe. I mean, Marvin Vettori's head movement and boxing was amazing, but his chin surprised me as well. There was a lot of things we learned about Marvin Vettori in this bout. First of all, we learned that he can hang with the top of the division 100%, because as much as I like Marvin Vettori, other than the Cole Roberson win, his other fights were just not dominant, even though he won every round. I like to see some finishes in fights, because it tells me that you're that far ahead of your opponent that not only can you beat them, but you can go the extra mile and make them quit or finish them as well. Marvin Vettori didn't really show me that until the Roberson fight. But now I'm on board the Marvin Vettori train. He called out Paulo Costa after the fight as well. We called out UFC 4, which is an upgrade from UFC 3, but somehow they have less fighters on it. Very interesting upgrade if you ask me. But Marvin Vettori, great performance, landed really good shots, won the fight very impressively. One judge gave him a 10-8 in the first round, other two didn't. I didn't mind. I thought it could have been either way. Either way, Marvin Vettori is a problem in that division. Gaino Sanya says otherwise. I think Adesanya is still going to be champ, but Marvin Vettori versus Paulo Costa next is a fun scrap. If I was Vettori, I'd campaign my hardest for that to be a main event of a fight night. I just burped there. I would campaign my hardest for that to be the main event of a fight night, because Costa don't like 5-rounders. I'm sure we can agree on that. He does not empty the gas tank the same way that he does in a 3-rounder, because those 5 rounds are terrifying for a guy that knows that he can slow down. I think Marvin Vettori would do really well against Paulo Costa in that bout, and I think he's just entered the top 5 of the division with a statement against Jack Hermansson. Great grappling, great stand-up, great cardio for a guy who was training for 3 rounds and got the call on a week's notice. I mean, what's not to like? Vettori showed it all. Good chin, good heart, good cardio, good stand-up, good grappling. Good performance. He made Jack Hermansson look like some random Swede. Good shit. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there, and Jack Hermansson, take some time off, recuperate, and then get back in there. I'd like to see him take on a loser of one of these upcoming bouts. Maybe if Costa loses to Vettori, then you do Costa versus Hermansson, or something along those lines. But Hermansson, give it some time, recover, work on your stand-up a little bit, because it was a bit sloppy in there, and then we'll see what to do with Hermansson. But thank you, Hermansson, for saving the event. We wouldn't have had this event without Hermansson accepting all of these short notice of replacements. Someone said, some idiot said that this means Kevin Holland would smoke Hermansson in the first round. Some idiot. Darth Bloatlord. Fucking hell. No way does that. You're just salty because Hermansson lost, so you're just saying stuff. Holland, this doesn't mean that Holland now KOs Hermansson and everyone KOs Hermansson in the division. Holland, who took Darren Stewart to a split decision win, now just beats Hermansson in the first round by KO. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means that Vettori is the real deal in this division, and he got it done in spectacular fashion. Click that button up there, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip.